it is amazing that you have come far and wide, literally from all parts of the bottom south of Invercargill through to Auckland, and we feel really honoured that you have decided that your Saturday night in November is worth coming to this property. We're really humbled again just by the support we receive through local community and from Leavers, and so we are looking for a fun evening. We do have a special guest on the stage. We have Jo Goodhue, and she'll be formally introduced in a moment by Rosanna, who is also here on the stage. And I will hand over to the chair of our trust, Al Aiken.
Thank you, Liz. I'm Alan Aiken. I'm chair of the Gloriavale Leavers Support Trust board. And I guess my ceremonial duty is just to say a couple of quick things. Mainly just to say thank you. Thank you for everyone being here, whether you are a leaver or survivor of Gloriavale, and all the journey that you've been on, and thank you for trusting us to help you and be part of it too, and all the contributions that Leavers have made in the work that we're engaged in. Thank you for our volunteers and staff members, my fellow board, and for the things you do, things that are seen and unseen, for our other supporters and experts and advisors and officials and community leaders who have all been part of what has become a huge adventure and a huge cause, I guess, as we try and build a better future for those who are in Gloriavale and for those who have left Gloriavale. And today is one of these symbolic days we gather together. The government's funded our occasion a bit because we're celebrating National Survivors Week, and well, I suppose I could say this, if you're a Gloriavale Leaver, you're all an overcomer in some way, which leads me now to hand over to Rosanna.
After you, Al. Welcome everybody. Thanks for people from the leaders and supporters that have all turned up tonight. First up, we will be taking a moment to mark the National Day of Reflection for Survivors of Abuse and Care. That's what this event's officially for. This day arose out of the completion of the Royal Commission inquiry into abuse in state and faith-based institutions. The aim of the inquiry was to find out what happened, why it happened, and how to prevent it happening again. In 2019, a group of Leavers and the Gloriavale Leavers Support Trust advocated for inclusion in the inquiry. They set aside a team of lawyers who travelled to interview Leavers, and by 2021, a large majority, upwards of 50 people, of Gloriavale Leavers had shared their experiences of abuse and neglect. For many of us, this was the first time we had formally shared some of our silenced stories. In 2022, Howard Temple and Rachel Steadfast appeared before a public inquiry hearing to answer for the abuse that was perpetrated. I also spoke at that Auckland event, challenging not only the Gloriavale leadership, but also the state for failing to protect. I attended Parliament in July 2024 as the final report was tabled. It was a sombre moment when the thousands and thousands of pieces of paper representing thousands of Kiwis' lives were carried onto the parliamentary table. Afterwards, we spoke to government officials, including the Prime Minister, and spoke of our desire for the children at Gloriavale to be safe and enjoy the freedoms of New Zealand society. We have been sent the full 2,500-page Royal Commission report, which sits here today, along with a separate book of survivor stories, not just Gloriavale Leavers survivor stories, but all those who participated in the Royal Commission inquiry. Gloriavale has been mentioned more than 150 times, alongside other well-known places of abuse like Lake Alice and Dilworth. While Faithful Disciple and Zion Pilgrim stories were chosen to be published, and I honour their courage in allowing that to happen, I want to also acknowledge the many of you whose stories were too painful, too raw, too complex to appear in print. Your courage is no less, and your stories no less valid, and in many ways your silence speaks volumes. Today we honour you too. Sadly, we failed to get a full standalone document printed that related specifically and only to Gloriavale, so we've created our own. It runs to 50 pages, and there are copies available for those who would like to read it. It's also available on our website. The The final report was scathing of Gloriavale, finding that the inquiry heard of abuse and neglect occurring in Gloriavale Christian community. Much of the abuse stemmed from the authoritarian control leadership had over the community and co-occurred with spiritual abuse. Survivors spoke about the psychological and spiritual abuse community leaders perpetrated, including through the use of shame, manipulation, humiliation and isolation. The economic and educational neglect suffered, discrimination suffered by Rainbow, Māori and disabled survivors, and the normalised and pervasive physical and sexual abuse. Recommendations that were made. The inquiry is concerned to ensure that the government does everything it can to prevent the factors that led to this historical abuse and neglect and care at Gloriavale. Recommendation 88. Ensure the ongoing safety of children, young people and adults in care at Gloriavale. To start immediately. Why mention it today? Today I'm mentioning it because on the 12th of November 2024, the government formally apologised to survivors of abuse in state and faith-based institutions for not acting appropriately to safeguard children. They announced a National Day of Reflection to be held within this week. The purpose of this day is to call the country to reflect on the abuse that has happened in care, survivors of the abuse, and also those who have passed away. So here we are, 1 year on. But as we look back, we will also want to look forwards. I look around at so many people here who have overcome adversity and are on a journey of hope and to freedom. I want to read a portion from my opening speech that I made at hearing for the Royal Commission, and not because I don't think you know this stuff, but I think that you'll resonate with it. I've just highlighted a few bits from it. Today, Gloriavale is part of this hearing, essentially because of the dreadful lack of care from government agencies in the past. After our leader, Hopeful Christian, was convicted and served a short prison sentence for his crimes, he was allowed back into our community, the community where I, as a child, lived. The people that should have cared for the children and vulnerable allowed a sex offender not only into a close-knit community with inadequate living quarters, but back into the senior position of leadership as a shepherd of the church. We, the children and vulnerable of Gloriavale, were let down by government agencies that should have been protecting us. What was not dealt with appropriately went on to become the culture I was raised in. When people in positions of power have no accountability, they create a path of hurt and destruction. Systems left unchecked don't improve, they deteriorate. This is what has happened at Gloriavale. What began as a sharing life became take your share. In the same way, those small symptoms of control and abuse have morphed into a culture where abuse is most unfortunately normal and almost okay. The people have all suffered emotional, physical, racial, sexual and spiritual abuse. And the methods Gloriavale uses to deal with any issues is only to character assassinate, to publicly shame. How can these deep-rooted methods change when it is the same people in leadership? Where have the people been that could have made a difference? The agencies that have known for over 50 years the truth of what has happened there, have they just turned a blind eye? We survivors have an understanding of what needs to change if only someone would listen. Why should the survivors be re-traumatised over and over again whilst begging to be heard? When they risk giving evidence only add to the public saturation of all too many similar abuse stories and the constant shame and guilt put on them by the very people who should care the most. Where the leaders at Gloriavale have been almost in the position of God and held in the utmost esteem, have created a culture of shifting the blame, minimising the trauma and deeming the victim the offender. We know we will be mocked by our own, we know we will be called bitter and angry, but we speak up for the children, for their future. As we reflect on what we've heard tonight from the Royal Commission's work, from survivors and from those who continue to advocate for change, we're reminded that this journey isn't just about what's written in a report, it's about people, it's about you. It's about truth, dignity and healing. To everyone here who has carried a story, shared a story, or simply held space for others, thank you all. Your presence matters. Together we honour the courage it takes to face the past, and we look forward to a future where these stories lead to lasting and meaningful change. Let's have a few moments of silence to reflect on the words we've heard tonight and to determine what role we all play in reducing harm in our communities. Maybe say a little prayer. Now I'm going to invite Zion Pilgrim.
Thank you, Rosie. Yeah, it's been 5 years for us, for our family, since we left the life we knew, since we stepped off the cliff. And many of you are from the same background. For those that aren't, it's essentially like becoming a refugee and leaving the world you know and going to another one, completely different. But before, as just to flash back to that time as we were stepping off that cliff, we just knew that even though we were leaving the life we knew, leaving the friends we had, that our names would be mud, that every security, financially, socially, spiritually, everything we had, we were leaving behind. We knew one thing, and that is God is good, and He would care for us. And He's done that. 5 years on, new family, new friends, all of you today. And so that's, I feel very unworthy to be representing Leavers because our story really isn't that bad, but we'll do what we can. And as we dig into what was normal, as Rosie said, what was normal for us growing up, what we thought was normal, and then you realise the ways of control, manipulation, handling people is really not normal. And even at the time, I remember just feeling so uncomfortable seeing people handled badly and thinking, this isn't God. This isn't, God loves us. God is gentle, and it's His love that impacts how people should be treated. And so yeah, it's been a big journey for us. But we're just so thankful first of all to the Lord, but also to all of you. We're very thankful to the Leavers Support Trust, Liz, Graham, Janina, thank you for your help, Caro, Dale. There's so many people that have helped us with everything that you guys do. I don't know how many kids have got licences now and been released on the New Zealand roads, but they are safe.
Tony Bunting.
They are safer thanks to you. So and just life is busy, life is full, but life is good. And we're just so thankful to have friends, family, and just the support from all of you. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Zion. And also, if you want to read Zion's statement and Faithful's, they're up here in the Survivor books. I'm going to invite Virginia Courage up here, who is going to reflect on the apology and what it means for the people who have both left and are still in Gloriavale.
Hello everyone, welcome again. Thanks for being here. It feels amazing to see in person again the support that we actually get from everyone. Our day-to-day is multitasked with not just thanking the trust, our farewell to Janina, the opening of the office premises, but also a call to the government because they still haven't actually done much. Today is not just about remembrance or survivors. It's about the recognising the pain, the resilience and the diligence of those who have endured abuse while in care. The Royal Commission has validated the experiences of the survivors These experiences are now part of our national record. They cannot be denied or forgotten. Sadly though, government process has been slow and still incomplete. While the report recommended a nationwide redress scheme, survivors harmed in faith-based institutions have been left out. Active investigations such as those into slavery have moved painfully slow. Gloriavale's trust still remains with its charitable status. And families and friends continue to live in Gloriavale's controlled environment. Government agencies persist in delaying, deferring and extending compliance deadlines. Positive change in Gloriavale has not come from government action. It's come from survivors, the media, legal cases, our incredible legal team, dedicated over years, documentaries and advocacies. Ordinary people doing what the state has not. While we wait, people are still suffering. Every delay carries a human cost. Families and friends inside Gloriavale still do not have the basic freedoms that other New Zealanders take for granted. We call on the government to include all survivors, including those harmed in faith-based institutions, into the national redress process. Most importantly, stop fighting survivors in court. Work with us, not against us. Don't look away. Change does not come from silence. Reflection without action is not remembrance, it's neglect. We're grateful for the report, but gratitude cannot be the end of the story. The harm inflicted was not fleeting. It will last most of us a lifetime. It shaped the experiences of children and adults, and it's felt every day. Waiting longer, because as Rosie said before, we're a year on. Waiting longer only prolongs the suffering. Every day of delay is another day survivors are denied real freedom, safety, and recognition that should have been theirs for their whole life. Until justice stops being delayed, it is nothing more than justice denied. Justice is only meaningful when it's timely. Every delay compounds the harm already done. Delaying justice is not neutral. It is a continuation of the original wrong. Until action is taken, until justice is delivered, it cannot be truly called justice at all.
And now, I'd like to introduce you to our distinguished guest, Joe Goodhue. We are very pleased to have Joe Goodhue with us this evening. Joe is a well-known South Canterbury local who represented our region in Parliament for 4 terms as the Member of Parliament for Araki and later for Rangitata. During her time in government, she held several important portfolios, including Minister for the Community and Voluntary Sector, Minister for Senior Citizens, Associate Minister of Health, and Associate Minister for Primary Industries. Since leaving Parliament, she has continued to serve the region in various governance and community roles, offering her time and expertise to causes that strengthen and support South Canterbury. So welcome Joe Goodhue, please.
Good evening. I'm going to begin this evening by greeting you as I used to when I was a parliamentarian and I gave a speech, because I believe that the greeting is meaningful. E aku rangatira, tēnā koutou katoa, ka nui te honore ki te mihi kia koutou. Now translated that means, I greet you all as very distinguished guests, and it is my absolute honour to be here to be talking with you. So that is my greeting to you. I greet all those gathered here as leaders, as change makers, and as I've said, as distinguished guests. And I thank Liz Gregory for the invitation to be amongst you this evening. As I said, I am honoured to be here. And I do so because you all collectively deserve to be honoured for your efforts to right wrongs, to release those who are experiencing harm from harm, those who have suffered abuse from the proximity of that abuse, and those who would be at risk of harm from that cloud over their future. I also greet you as important and welcome members of this, our community. And now I know, from what Liz has said, that you are also from afar to support this event. There are those amongst you who have risen to the challenge of support of and for those who have left Gloriavale, and those also who are yet to leave. Now I salute you for your fortitude, your care, your commitment and your faith in what is just, is true and is right. National Day of Reflection is a day that will be marked nationwide, and today you have chosen to combine the marking of this day and all it represents with a farewell to a treasured staff member and the opening of your office project. Now, alongside your sadness that Janina Kitchen will no longer be part of your on-site team, will come gladness that she will still be part of your community, and most surely God will find other ways for her to support your work. Your office project has supporters and sponsors, all part of a collective effort to serve the work of those whose work is not done. National Day of Reflection is both a sombre and a celebratory occasion. And it's sombre, as has been mentioned already, but it's a day to salute the courage it took to step away from a life where fear and abuse is known to an uncertain future in a world that is unfamiliar. I'm so grateful to those who greet you and turn the unfamiliar into a warm welcome. A day to salute those who held out their arms and said, "We will help you walk away." A day to salute those who spoke in public and in testimony of their experience, because without that, judgments could not be brought and consequential change. I understand there is more work to do. There is more light to be shone into corners that are dark, realities that are not what they might seem, and lives that are not what New Zealanders can hope for. I acknowledge that there will soon be a decision on the education of children in Gloriavale. I hope and pray it is what you are waiting for. I also acknowledge that at a government level, the pace of scrutiny has been too slow and inadequate. And as has been said, for 12 years I was the MP for people who live in this place. And so I take some responsibility that that has been the way it is. And I do not feel anything other than shame that it has been that way. I believe that despite that, absolutely despite that, you have made amazing progress in helping government agencies understand what is wrong, or despite government agencies helping an understanding of what is wrong and highlighting the failure to act on experiences that are not what New Zealanders should live with. So I give thanks to those of you who have in many ways been part of hard-fought battles to bring to justice those who prevail over injustices, over harm and abuse. I also know that in a day that marks recognition of survivors of abuse and care, there is a sombre understanding that there are still many who do not live in a safe place. They have yet to reach safety, to shed the shackles they experience in their lives living within Gloriavale and some other places. I conclude by saying to you that your collective support, care, fortitude, commitment, and above all else, courage is and always will be worth it. I thank you, and I am humbled to be sharing this event with you. Nō reira, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa.
Thanks, Joe, for those words and for being with us this evening as we reflect on what we've heard tonight from the Royal Commission's work, from survivors and from those who continue to advocate for change. We're reminded that this journey isn't just about what's written in a report, it's about people, it's about you. It's about truth, dignity and healing. To everyone here who has carried a story, shared a story or simply held space for others, thank you all. Your presence matters. Together we honour the courage it takes to face the past, and we look forward to a future where these stories lead to lasting and meaningful change. Let's have a few moments of silence to reflect on the words we've heard tonight and to determine what role we all play in reducing harm in our communities. Maybe say a little prayer. Alright, I'd also like to thank the legal team who are here tonight. We have Brian Henry, Dennis Gates, who's hiding. Where are you, Dennis? There he is hiding, literally. Steve couldn't make it, unfortunately, and we've got Kadre as well. Janina has also been a massive part of the legal team, and many of you know from the hours that she's put in with interviewing us all and the work she's put in. They have travelled here to be with us tonight, and this is an opportunity also to give them our thanks for the hours, for the weeks, months and years they have spent trying to hold Gloriavale to account for their actions, and they haven't given up. I'm going to invite Pearl up here to express her gratitude to them.
This evening I stand here with gratitude. Gratitude for courage and justice, and for the people that have chosen to act when others stay silent. For so long, the voices of those of us who have suffered inside Gloriavale were ignored, minimised and dismissed. The truth is heavy and the path to justice sometimes feels impossible. But then remarkable people stepped forward, not because they had to, but because their moral compass demanded it. To Brian Henry, Dennis Gates, Stephen Patterson, and your incredible team, thank you. Thank you for giving your time, expertise and hearts to a group of people who desperately needed someone to believe in them. You don't just provide legal support, you provide hope. And you show leavers they matter. Their stories matter and justice matters. You chose to stand beside us who have been denied freedom and dignity. You stepped into one of the most challenging, emotional and complex battles our country has seen, and you have done it with compassion, conviction and an unwavering commitment. On behalf of everyone's lives you have touched, thank you for fighting beside us.
Very well deserved thank you. In this next portion, I want to welcome Janina Kitchen to the stage. Janina has been on the staff at the Gloriavale Leavers Support Trust for 5 years, and we are very sad to lose her. She has increased her hours with New Zealand Police after being made aware she cannot continue with both the police and the Gloriavale Leavers Support Trust. Until some of that is resolved, Janina will continue to be a cheerleader and supporter of the work we do, but no longer part of the staff on the team. We are very sad to lose her, but I'm going to invite Liz to say a few words.
Janina, you've been an integral part of the team. Don't cry. And I didn't see a time when you wouldn't be working for us, and I know it was the most difficult decision of your life. Janina had to choose between us and the police. And that's a tough choice, isn't it? But that was something the police demanded of Janina, just until The police issues are resolved with Gloriavale themselves. They felt like it could appear to be a conflict of interest, and it's just to safeguard them and the work they're doing and to safeguard the trust and Janina. And so we're hoping she'll be back anytime they get it all sorted, eh, Janina? I think actually Janina is now the most useful person on the police to assist with the police investigations into Gloriavale. So who knows what might appear to be for our bad, or might end up being, Janina, for everybody else's good. Look, your gentle manner and the skills you've had with our leavers and the legal team, you really have been the perfect person for this role. You've been an advocate, a supporter. Your door was always open. Brian would say, I'm coming to town, I'll see you at 8 o'clock tonight, and that may have been your weekend. You've had a great husband who's supported you in the work. So many trips to the coast, we have had some adventures, and so we've got a few lovely pictures up here as well. It's hard to say goodbye for now. Janina also was multi-talented and ran our finance department, but the Lord provided within a matter of moments, and Clarissa Hardy is now taking on the finance role, as I really didn't want to land that one on my lap as well. And so we will be looking for someone else for a few other hours next year. We invited Steve Patterson. He was to have some words, Janina, but he got caught in the fog in Auckland, and the planes were grounded, and he is very upset that he can't be here, but he has supplied us with a Facebook message, a messenger video, which is technically difficult for me to execute, but I thought I could put the sound up.
Hey Janina, sorry I can't be there for your farewell. Here I am stuck in Auckland since 7 p.m. last night trying to get south. It's been fantastic working with you. I remember the day that you served Howard Temple and the Ready proceedings back in maybe 2020, and he refused to look you in the face and you dumped the filings at his feet. It was fantastic. And here he is now, a convicted person. Hey, all the best. I'm sure we're going to be doing stuff together in the future one day, who knows. And it's been an absolute pleasure working with you. Have a great evening, and sorry I can't be there. Bye.
Oh, good on you, Steve. That was great. And so we'll actually give the last word to Faithful Disciple. So Faithful, would you like to come up?
When I was asked to do this, I thought, well, that's the easiest job ever, to say a few nice words for Janina. Yes, our family left 4.5 years ago, and Janina was one of the first people that really connected with us and helped us to learn that we could trust. And that was really so special. She's had, I feel like she was the heart of the operation. And yes, she's been beside us through telling our very, very difficult stories. And I just wanted to say you've become part of our story, part of our healing story. And thank you so much on behalf of all the Leavers for what you've done and what you've been. And we wish you all the best going forward.
This is like Janina's fourth farewell, by the way. Like, we had a staff one, then a trust one, then a girls one, and so.
Thank you all for being here. And it's not all about me, it's all about everyone who is here. I haven't planned a speech or anything, but Gloriavale and Gloriavale Leavers have been a part of my life, a big part of my life for the last 5+ years. And I'm not just gonna step away from it. I'm stepping away from this role as a staff member, but I'm still here, and I have connected with just about all the Leavers here, I would say, in one way or another. And I don't want to just step away and not ever see you again. I've become a part of your lives, and you're a part of my life as well. I have seen people through their deepest lows, some people, and seeing them exhibit some incredible courage and standing up in court as well, with witnesses and plaintiffs in various cases, and even just supporting other people who have spoken up. It's huge, and I really appreciate, and I'm so privileged to have been working alongside so many of you, and thank you. I will always be an avid supporter of you all. Thank you.
Just one more thing about Janina. Sorry. When Faithful said about her building that trust with him, it made me reflect on the trust that Janina has built with so many of us. And coming from a culture where there is no trust, there's nobody to trust in, and Janina has handled that with such grace and love and care for all of us in our different ways, and she's taken us all on so graciously. And it would also be something to just keep in mind for any of you who are supporters, is the way that you can graciously teach people to trust you by not sharing their information, and just understanding that when they tell you a story, it is safe with you. It rebuilds so much of a person's life and their confidence, and going forward for their whole life and every decision they make, if they know there's people that they can trust. And now to the final part of the formalities. You'll notice we're standing in front of a space that for many years were shipping containers holding household goods for leavers. I'm going to pass over to Liz, whose life has been pretty much consumed with this project for 2.5 years. Here you go, Liz.
Oh yes, it has. So it was a crazy day like 10 years ago. I said to Graham, there's this family that wants to come out of Gloriavale. They've got like 13, 12 kids. They probably would need somewhere to go. Why don't we quickly get some shipping containers on our property? We could probably even just stay in there and let them have the house. They're not coming for a month or two. And then we get the phone call, they want to come tomorrow. Oh, okay. So, and I remember ringing my parents on the Thursday night telling you about the shipping container idea. You said, that sounds wonderful. That family and 50 of their relations can't be here tonight. There is a clash and they're just not able to be. So these became storage for many years. And then, you can see some photographs, and what we're going to do when we invite you to tour, we'll have this flicking through some of our building of the property. And so Graham and I are looking forward to getting our weekends back. The trust itself didn't have the resources to execute it, so Graham and I have sort of taken on responsibility to run the project and to team up with people in our local community who wanted to support us, and we're incredibly grateful for that. And it's amazing now just to have a space where the staff can be and leavers can come, and we can hold meetings that aren't in my lounge, so I don't always have to keep it tidy. That has been such a chore. So 2.5 years ago we started planning that, it's taken that long. We dug our first bit of lawn, and with a friend Mark, we got some plans drawn up, and then we took it to the trust and said, what do you reckon? And it all sounded like a great idea. They said, what do we need to do? We said, nothing. They said, great, go ahead, pretty much. So we are grateful for businesses who actually supported this project. So that was the vision. It started with cardboard and pieces of sellotape and me putting it together, and then it created a nice design render. And then it was time for action. There were a few newspaper articles about it, but I guess most excitingly we hooked up with this group called MMM, Mobile Ministry Maintenance, and it was chaotic. They must have thought it was amazing. They travel the country helping groups like ours, sort of groups that have an interest in faith-based issues, might be churches or camps, to do long-term maintenance on properties. So when they got a shipping container conversion, I think they thought that was pretty great. Chris was team leader over there. Put your hand up. Hands up if you were on the MMM team. I know you've travelled far and wide. We had a lot of people come over a 1-month period 2 years ago. And we were, we enjoyed it. And so thanks to the commercial sponsors and donors who we've listed here, and I know some of you are here and we're really grateful. And we will be putting a newspaper advert in next Friday, thanking the commercial sponsors, and there should be an article about this event as well. And it got crazy for a whole month of building, and then we stopped every now and then Oh look, Scott, he had a lie down. He got his head down a few of these deck holes here, and then we got working again, and then we were supplied with food, and Fridays was the best day. Why? U-Bake. We got like U-Bake food. Thank you, U-Bake. And guess what? Tonight we've got for our supper, dessert, U-Bake food, all right? Donuts and lolly cake and all sorts. And they left us looking like, it looked like that when they left us. I don't know why it took 2 years to yesterday, 8:30 in the morning, last bit of, actually it's only had one coat, it needs another one next week. Last bit of stain on the deck, and if you tour through here, you'll notice there are 3 things unfinished. Had anybody noticed the black up there that didn't get scraped off? Well, you do now. That's one of them. Graham noticed, it was on the list, it didn't happen. 2 more things that need fixing, all right. Anyway, so we got busy. We actually had a big event that year as well, and then Graham and I, and there's my dad, electrician, lots of people came, carpet, dug up our entire driveway beginning of this year, hung the wallpaper, last week spray painted. Thanks to Heartland, you've been fantastic supporters of our work. That container back there was from you guys. I told you we'd need it for 2 months. It's been here 2 years, had all the building materials in it, and we're just going to empty it by Christmas, I promise. Let's see. All right, so we are incredibly grateful. We're going to leave this open for an hour for you to come and look through. On the back, because you're wondering where all the stuff's stored, aren't you? We've put up storage sheds so we keep a house load of furniture for leavers anytime, and we've got a free clothing shed for leavers, and we're now hiring another container to put our own personal stuff in because we lost that. Because our garage is full and we never put a car in it. We seem to hoard stuff. We're good hoarders. I'm my father's daughter. And when my father cleans up, I'm getting all his stuff that's in his backyard. So this has truly been a partnership, and you're hungry, so let's close up now with a cutting of the ribbon. Beautiful glitter ribbon. Graham's going to love the glitter, and Joe's going to take out extremely sharp scissors. If you enjoy the work, like the work of the Trust, why don't you get on our Facebook page? Maybe you'd like to consider partnering with us. We actually run our finances through the generosity of the local public and a few grants that we get from kind donors. So if you think that the work we do is important, there are pamphlets up here for you to take, and we are grateful to Leavers for allowing us into your lives to create a whirlwind, and hopefully you know that we love you very much. And we hope you feel welcome, everyone, in this new space.
I'm going to pass over to our Aitken, who will finish up here for the evening, and then Joe's going to finish up properly.
Thank you. Let us pray. Lord Jesus, we thank you that this project is done at last. Past a few minor items. We thank you for Liz and Graham and their service to this great cause we're all engaged in. And we thank you for your love for us expressed in your common grace of a good day, good friends, and good food. Amen.
May the good work continue within the ribbon.
The next project next week, Graham. He said no more projects before Christmas. All right, please, it's time for dinner, so pick up a plate and enjoy your evening. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.